welcome in everybody today to the dojo. We are doing some coaching day with SlightofHam. Welcome in, SlightofHam.
Thank you.
Glad
to be here.
We're going to be doing some coaching in Great League. SlightofHam has been near legend. This is his first season taking GBL pretty serious, like trying to push and learn and grow after having played since, I think you said since last March-ish, so a few seasons ago.
Yeah.
So, looking to keep learning and improving and maybe make a legend push. I mean, there's still Go Battle Night, so if you pick up some things that really stick with you, there's still a lot of games left this season. But if not, definitely on the road to that next season. If you got into the 2900, upper half of the 2900s during Ultra Remix, you'll definitely be in a good spot going into next season.
Yeah, I was one set away and then just struggled since then.
Yep, and I myself and lots of other people that hang out in the community and the channel have been in that situation before. Get that close and then you just start sliding and the confidence takes a hit, your play gets a little sloppy because you're second guessing yourself. Just try to be encouraging today and focus on the little things we can do to win games. If you're ready, let's go for it.
Okay.
For those that don't know, and I already explained to SlightofHam, the way we do coaching sessions here in the channel, we refer to as the inadequance method, since he kind of pioneered that in the category. But we will mute and deafen our student during their games, so they can't hear us, but we can still talk to chat, so you guys can hear my insights live, and it also gives the student an opportunity to go back later and watch the whole VOD to hear all the things I'm saying, because I'm invariably going to say some things during the games that I don't have time to address with them in the little conversations we have after each game. Try to focus on one thing at a time in those conversations, but there may be other things they can learn by watching the whole thing back. But let's go for it. All right. Search game one, you saw there SlightofHam running a very meta, he called it his try hard team. I respect that as a very high rank Metacham, Bastidon, and a Sableye. So pretty straightforward AB duo core safe swap. He did note, and it's true, that the team is ABA weak to charm, but I don't think we expect to see that many charmed leads. And we did talk about a plan for if that happens. Just the general plan you use in that situation is you have to stay in with your lead, do as much damage as you can. Maybe you can get a shield in some matchups, and then use your hard counter to farm down. Let's see what the first matchup is here. Metacham into Venusaur. This is a pretty even matchup. SlightofHam running Ice Punch and Psychic. Tanking a Frenzy Plant does not feel good, but we get an extra counter through. That's nice. And you can see that the counter is adding up about as much as the Vine Whips do. I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3. Gets the deny on the Ice Punch. I like it. Going straight Ice Punch. Not lethal from this range, but threatening the Psychic probably means that they shield. I like that call. And even if they don't shield the Ice Punch, it's still super effective damage. A lot of times that factors into baiting, right? And SlightofHam making a good read here. Going to tank 1 Frenzy and hopefully get to a Psychic here. I don't think he gets to 2 Ice Punches. Opponent swaps out. Would have liked to see him keep this energy, right? It would be more effective later against the Venusaur. We could be counter swapping here. There we go. He goes back up to 1 Ice Punch. Would have been a little nicer to have 2 here, but this is workable, right? Nothing that DD threatens lethal on our Sableye from here. Saving that shield for later. I mean, we stayed in a little too long, and so now we're in a situation where I don't think we can quite... If we'd come in right away, we could tank that Thunderbolt, farm to 2, and be in a little better position here. Because then we'd be able to throw right away at the Venusaur and really threaten it. So far we've seen... And the Backmon is a Basti, so we're going to have a damage lead, but they're going to have an energy lead. I think that this is an advantage for us. I think Slight's in a decent position. The Venusaur is still alive with some energy is a little scary. I definitely would let them farm us down here, and we can't switch out anyways because switch timer. So we come in Basti. We need to save that move on the Medi to kill the Venusaur. I like it. We have a pretty big HP advantage here. Flamethrower is not going to do that much. Opponent's going to try to at some point swap in the Venusaur and throw a move at us. That was very quick. So we need to shield this, right? This Frenzy Plant is the most threatening thing that's going to happen the rest of this game. Ooh, letting it go. That feels a little high risk. Now we don't have an HP lead in the mirror anymore. Stone Edge or Flamethrower is the same cost. Either one's going to be lethal from here. I mean, technically the Flamethrower is super effective, more damage, but it doesn't really matter in this situation. And then we should swap out and immediately combo. I like it. And maybe the counters we get here put us back in the HP lead in the mirror. We take out the Venusaur. But I definitely think 2, 3... Oh yeah, okay. I think we're ahead again. We still have the shield. I still think shielding the Frenzy Plant would have been more effective than shielding this upcoming Flamethrower would have been. But I guess saving the shield guarantees we can combo. If the Venusaur had gone to 2 Frenzies, it's a little risky there to make that combo because they might be able to throw back-to-back at us. But opponent gives up. All right, let's bring Slight back in here and talk about that one. All right, what'd you think about that one?
I felt like I probably could have played it better, but it still worked out. Yeah.
No, you played it well enough to win, and you have to give yourself credit for that. Like a lot of times we focus on the things we didn't. We want to learn from the things we didn't do well, but playing well enough to win is where we want to start at. What do you think you could have done better that game? Just give me a couple things.
I honestly, it's just a feeling. I couldn't really put my finger on it.
Okay, so when they swapped their Venusaur out and brought in Defense Deoxys.
I probably could have switched right away.
Yep. Or even if you stayed in a little bit and farm up there, that's okay because your Sableye is a really good counter for the Defense Deoxys. But we probably don't ever want to throw the energy there, right? If we save, if you go up to 2 Ice Punches there and swap out, you're in a really good spot against that Venusaur later. So it's a little less scary that he swapped out with part of a move loaded.
Right.
So when our opponent makes a swap and we have a good counter swap for that, we don't want to give up energy from our lead matchup.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That was the one thing. Oh, the other thing was I was curious why you no shielded the Frenzy Plant on your Bastiodon.
I felt like I was going to have to take a move and save a shield because I didn't know that he had a Bastiodon.
No, we'd already seen. So the Bastiodons came in and they were hitting each other. He swapped out to the Venusaur and he went up to a Frenzy. And you no shielded the Frenzy when you knew the only other mon he had left was a Bastiodon. And I was a little...
Right.
I think the Frenzy there is the move. For the rest of that game, that Frenzy Plant was going to do the most damage of anything your opponent threw. So it makes a little more sense to shield that Frenzy than it does to save the shield for a Flamethrower from his Bastiodon.
Right, which tickles.
Exactly. So yeah, just those were the 2 things I noticed there. Your timings were good. I like that you went up above the Psychic before throwing the Ice Punch in the lead matchup. That's really heads up. It puts them in an awkward spot. If you throw right at 6, they know it's an Ice Punch. They don't have to shield the first one. So I like that you overfarmed a little before the first one. But yeah, just that when they switch, we want to try to make a quick evaluation. Do I need to chip this before I leave, or do I have a really good answer for it? In that case, the Sableye is a really good answer for Defense Deoxys. We don't need to use our energy.
Yeah, I definitely, in hindsight, did not need to chip the Deoxys.
Yeah, and that was about it for that one. Let's jump to the next one.
All right, sounds good.
I'm curious to see. We get to Ice Punch before they can throw a Sky Attack. So they're 1 turn short of a Sky Attack here. We could either try to catch on Bastiodon, which is high risk because they probably have a Bastiod answer, or we can go to Sableye here, or we can play it out. Opponent no shields the Ice Punch. I mean, I'm okay shielding this. I don't think we want to let our Medi go. Okay. We get to another Ice Punch. If he knows his Medi, all right, I accept it. The XL Medi able to tank that 1 Sky Attack, get to 2 Ice Punches, force a shield or switch. Opponent shields. We win switch at this point. We don't want to give it away. So now we can come in with our hard counter. Opponent staying in feels good for us. That means our Bastiodon's probably good against something else on their team. So when they bring in the answer for this, which they almost certainly have, We probably want to switch out to that Sableye with shield advantage. But I like how he's playing it so far. There's a Toxicroak. Get out! There we go. A little bit slow on the swap out there, but not too bad. This matchup's probably not very good for us. We are up 2 shields. Please no Leaf Tornado one time. Alright, Frenzy Plant, that's good. That means that we are going to be essentially on the same pace as our opponent. Both of us generating 4 energy per turn, and our charge moves cost 45. We swapped in, got a couple Shadow Claws off before they swapped in, so we'll keep outpacing here. So throw right here forces either the shield or the opponent to give up their Mon. I expect them to shield here to force our last shield, and the question is, can we farm... Oh, nope, they let it go. Okay. Toxie comes back in. This is a tough call. No shields to the Mud Bomb, okay. I think they can counter us down now. 2... And they're still out of Flamethrower range. The Shadow Claws definitely put more pressure on the Toxie than our Basti Smackdowns do. Goes for the combo play, but I don't think this Flamethrower is enough. Yeah, I think if we shield... Maybe the Smackdown a Toxicroak? I would no shield this. This one Shadow Claw kills that. One Smackdown also kills that. There's more than one way out of that game, and SlightofHam finds one of them. All right, what'd you think about that one?
That one was a little nervous on.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
That coming down the stretch there was a little uncomfortable. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like even if he took out my Bastiodon, another Shadow Claw would have taken him out.
Yes. So I was curious why you shielded the Basti there if you were confident the one Shadow Claw would kill.
I was kind of getting greedy and wanting Bastiodon to be the one that killed Toxicroak.
That's fair, and people post screenshots like that in my Discord. We have a channel for that, for those that don't know in the audience here. There is the Pokemon Flex No Flaming channel. If you smack down a Toxicroak, take a screenshot of that, put it in there. That's what we're looking for. Let's see, what else? I liked that you swapped out your Basti to the Sableye when they brought in the Toxicroak. Instead of trying to throw a move at it then. I was a little curious why you let him hit you with a couple counters, and that like really hurts Bastiodon. I was curious if you were like trying to make sure you got all the way to the move before you swapped out, or what your thinking was there before swapping out.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to make sure I had some energy to throw at the Toxicroak, because I knew at some point Bastiodon was going to be fighting Toxicroak again.
Yep.
And then when I saw him shield the foul play, I'm like, well, now I'm going to try and combo play him, hit him with a flamethrower.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be just a race at that point.
Yeah. And it was a close race. I felt that maybe you were in a little better position if you shielded the Mud Bomb on your Sableye, just because the Shadow Claws do a lot more damage than the Smackdowns do to the Toxicroak.
Right. That makes sense.
But, and Flip and Coop pointing out, and I did mention this, but like I really like the way you played that lead matchup. You clearly know how your Medicham functions in that matchup, and being able to get to the 2 ice punches before you get killed was nice, and it forces the shield or switch. I was a little hesitant. I was like, maybe you should probably shield the Sky Attack, but I really like the way you played that. Wanted to throw that in there.
Right.
But yeah, no, I would, when you're in that situation where it's going to be a race at the end, a lot of times you want to protect the Mon that does more fast move pressure. Because that helps you win those races, and the Shadow Claws there are more impactful than the Basties are, the Basti Smackdowns are. And there wasn't really going to be a situation where they could, because the other risk there would be if they could farm your Sableye with their Toxicroak up to 2 moves, and then they would kill your Sableye and win CMP on your Basti. But Sableye, how fast it gets to moves, there wasn't really a chance for the Toxie to do that. But I just have to that's a situation where you would want to save the shield for your back Mon. I was
really surprised that they didn't shield their Superior.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they were. I mean, they were really counting on their Toxic. If they'd shield their Superior, you still kill it, because you Superior and Sableye get to the moves at the exact same time, and you had swapped in before them, so you were always going to keep outpacing them to the next one.
Right. And I wasn't letting any free Vine Whips too, so that helped.
Exactly. No, your fast move deny has been really good. That definitely helps. It's one of those little things that if you can get it to a place where it's happening most of the time for you, it does give you a real edge in a lot of the matchups. But I'm ready for the next one if you are.
Absolutely.
Let's do it. All right, we got another matchup. Medicham into Skarmory. Pup Medi can win this in a lot of situations, but it's not as good for Ice Punch Psychic. But I imagine we're still staying in because we have a Basti to farm this down. Usually Skarm runs around with Swampert, and then it's just kind of a question of what the third thing is. But there are other, Skarm lines floating around out there. Can we tank a Sky Attack from Skarm? SlightofHam thinks probably, and if not, we get to farm it down anyways. Just not quite there. Opponent swaps out to a Medicham. We should be able to create a pretty good advantage off this with our Sableye. That's Pup. That was 5. So they're a Pup Medi. They're going to go straight Pup. That's going to put a little more pressure on us. Yeah, didn't need to shield that one. But that's, SlightofHam only recently started playing at a more competitive level, and so maybe he doesn't know the counts for all the things. But like an Ice Punch wouldn't have been too scary for us there either, I don't think. No shields this one. I wasn't counting this time because I was talking about other things, but it's just another pup, so that's fine. We farm down 2, 3. Skarn comes back in. Yeah, if we'd thrown right away there, probably in a little better spot. No shields this. I expect them to have another answer for Basti in the back, and I think that no shielding that puts us in a really risky spot. There's the G-Fisk. Feels pretty checkmate right here. But even if we'd saved the Sableye there, probably not a lot we could do. But maybe if we had thrown the foul play right away, Skarmory shields it. We shield their Sky Attack, and then we go for a farm down with the Sableye. Maybe we can get enough damage on the G-Fisk, or get enough shields out of it that the Basti can kind of clean it up. But from here, I don't think we have much play. Yep. I can totally understand not want to stick around for that one. All right, what do you think about that one, SlightofHam?
That one didn't go so well.
Yeah, I would refer to that, if you've been around much, I would refer to that as a bottom third matchup. It's you lost lead. They have really hard answers in the back for some of your backline stuff, so that's a tough game. But we still want to look for, opportunities in those games, right? Because we can steal some of those, really helps us climb. Going back.
Obviously, I shielded pups. They're the first pup anyhow.
Yes, so
that didn't help.
Yeah, do you kind of know the counts for Medi? Do you or is that just a?
That it's 5 for pup.
Yep.
And I just wasn't counting very well because I thought they snuck an extra one in.
Yeah,
like, well,
I think even if that was an Ice Punch there, it's okay to no shield that first one.
In hindsight, I probably could have just farmed that Medicham all the way down.
I like throwing one foul play there and then farming down. I think if you go for the full farm down, you end up probably somewhere between like 20 and 30% because he's going to keep pupping and the counters are really going to add up. They're only single resisted on Sableye. So I like throwing the one foul play and then farming down. I think it was probably in your best interest once you killed the Medi to be mashing foul play for whatever was coming in, because the Skarm did swap out with energy. I know we talked about like it's hard to keep track of some of that, but like we know that they overfarmed on our Medi some, and if we throw a foul play there, they have to shield to throw their move, and then we can make a choice after they've shielded if we want to shield our Sableye and maybe go for a farm down on the Skarm. Or if we want to let our Sableye go, and then at least we're on even shields going into the back matchup. But I think either way, we were kind of in a tough spot. Like, you see that Skarm lead, like, they're going to have 2 Basti counters behind it.
Yeah.
So it's a tough one.
And they definitely did.
Yeah. Were you expecting to be able to get to the second Ice Punch in the Skarm matchup?
I knew it was going to be close.
Okay.
It was more of a gamble than anything.
Yeah, when you watch that one back, I'm like, I wasn't paying quite close. Like, if there was any way to get, because your Ice Punch lit up, but you need that 1 turn past it to be able to throw the move, and that's when the air slash damage registered and killed you. So if there's any way to squeeze 1 turn in that matchup, could make the difference there. But I think you got a clean deny on the first one, and I think they threw at an odd number on the second one, so maybe there isn't a way, but it's worth at least taking a peek at it, because if you can do the same thing in that matchup you can do to Altaria, that'd be nice. But I like that you gave up the lead matchup, you came in to farm down. It's when somebody recognizes that's what's happening, what they're going to almost always do is swap out that Mon, and that's really annoying, but it's good play. So they swap out the Skarm. They don't want to let it get farmed down. That makes sense. So there wasn't. I don't know that there's a very good path to winning that game without our opponent making mistakes, but we still want to work on those little things. So they swapped out with energy. We farmed something down. We want to be throwing our move right away to make sure that they have to shield first. Led Zepp also. I mean, maybe if you instant swap to Sableye against Skarm, but I don't know that that's much better, because you're giving them the choice of what they want to bring in, and they can chip and dip too. And Sableye's not very strong in that situation. If the Skarm throws.
I do kind of like that. I do kind of like that idea because. I mean, Sableye is pretty neutral to all 3 of his Pokemon. Yeah, if we look at Sableye versus Skarm starting down at turns, the Skarm has the 1 shields. Yeah, Skarm. If you shield once, they shield once. They're at 20. Yeah, you could probably have double shielded and forced switch, which might have been worth it. Actually, probably would be worth it, right? If they stay, but if they stay in with the Skarm, no, because then you're still down a shield, and they have 2 things that kill your Basti. That'd be pretty tough. Yeah, because like down shields, I don't think Metacham can carry that.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe we try that next time. If it is a Skarm lead, we try instant swapping to Sableye and seeing if that plays out in a better way for us. Because I like just giving up the Medi didn't feel particularly good, and they didn't let us farm down anyways. So probably, if something didn't work, try something else. So
yeah, absolutely.
Let's go for the next one.
Sounds good.
That is quite the lead for us. Let's see what our opponent swaps to here. An Azumarill. Our whole team not great against Azu, but it's kind of a what move does it have situation. Right? If the Azu has Play Rough and Ice Beam, Basti actually a pretty good Azu counter. But I also like the play of just staying in here and shielding our Metacham and just throwing Psychics. I definitely think we shield here because nothing else on our team's a great Bastiodon counter. We see the Play Rough there. We, in theory, could throw a Psychic and then swap to Catch, but that's pretty high risk because they ooh, he baits. Baiting here. I'd rather just go Psychic. The energy cost difference isn't that big unless you like really know the matchup. If you really know the matchup and know like, oh, I can get to this move if I do or don't bait before they get to the 3rd move or something. Makes a little sense there. But in this case, I think we probably are just better off going straight Psychic. 2, 3, 4. Probably could have gotten a couple more counters in there. But I like that we're going for Psychic this time. We want to kill this thing. If they had shielded it, we definitely would have wanted to catch, but they don't. Let's see what their Backmon is. Their own Medi. 2, 3. So we just want to do as much damage as this as we can. Swaps out, okay. See if opponent stays in here. Nope, they go to their Basti. Makes sense. Yeah, we put ourselves in kind of a deep hole here. We don't get the deny on that one. Probably not game-changing. But being down 2 shields, and our Medi's going to have to fight their Medi at some point because the Bastidon sure isn't going to want to fight it. 3. I like the deny there. Good syncing up. I think we would have been a little bit better off if we'd stayed in that Medi-Medi matchup and just done as much damage as we could and then come into Sableye. And maybe we get a farm down, chip the Basti, get an HP lead in the mirror. Force a shield out. That's pretty nice. But you can see here that Switch is almost back up, so they're going to kill this. Switch will be back up, so when we go into our Medi, they're immediately going to swap to their Medi. Comes into the Basti. Okay. I guess absorbing the damage on Basti better than absorbing it on Medi. The flamethrower would be put us probably in psychic range. Expect them to swap out here now that they've thrown. 2, 3. Nothing that throws KOs us from here. But I guess our goal is to be able to get to 2 ice punches. Doesn't look like that's happening. They probably shield this, so it's okay that we threw an ice punch instead of going to the psychic. If they no shield this, ooh, yeah, we could have gotten to the psychic there. That would have been a little bit better. Not sure if opponent just making that read that they wanted to save the shield for this flamethrower, or if they were counting. But let's look it up real quick in Medi. How much extra damage do we get if we'd thrown a psychic there? Would that have made the difference? Medi. Psychic is 53. Psychic's almost twice as much damage as Ice Punch. So there's like a real chance that right about here their Medi's dead if we'd thrown Psychic. Psychic's 37% and Ice Punch is 19. So yeah, they'd be... I think they don't get to this move. I think they're under 20% right now. And that means that we maybe get to... Their Basti still had health on it, though. Alright, what do you think about that one, SlightofHam?
It's horrible. I didn't really know what to do with an Azu save swap.
Yeah. So, I think that our best bet, because their lead was Basti, they're probably going to have some kind of anti-fighter, right? Something that, in theory, beats your Medi. Whether, in this case, it was their own Medi, or sometimes it'll be a flyer back there, or a grass poison type, like a Venu or a Shadow Vec is less common now. But something that the Medi's going to have kind of a hard time with. What we might want to do is go up to throw the Psychic and then catch at 6 on our Basti. I think that's probably... Yeah. It's a little bit risky because we're desyncing the switch timer so much, but they're very likely to throw a play rough at 6 or to throw an ice beam at 6 trying to bluff the play rough. So I think trying to catch at 6 is probably our best play. And then we get to, like, if they have Hydro, we just no shield the Basti at that point. Like, if they have Hydro, we're just going to have to deal with it if they have Player of Hydro. But I think probably less likely that that's their moveset.
Right, with a save swap at least.
Yeah,
right.
It's probably Ice Beam and Play Rough. And then our Basti should be able to just create a pretty big energy lead off of the Azu, just like tapping, not throwing moves at it. Then they're, in theory, if we like kind of forward through from there, at some point they're gonna, not sure if we can kill the Azu or if they'll try to like store a move and swap it out to their Medi, but then we can throw a move at the Medi. Throwing that one move probably about realigns the switch timers, so we can then go to our Sableye on their Medi while it's locked in. And I think that kind of doing it that way, we have a better path to victory than the way we did it. The other option, I think, if you just go straight Psychic, I think you kill that Azu before it gets to the second one. The Ice Punch bait was pretty high risk.
Yeah, obviously it didn't pay off either.
Yeah. And also in that last matchup, you threw the Ice Punch when I think you were 1 counter short of Psychic. I think if you go for that Psychic there, you also have a chance. Because I looked it up, and you'll see it on the screen, but Ice Punch does 27 damage and Psychic does 53. It's like actually twice as much damage.
Yeah.
And I think then their Medi can't kill your Basti before it dies. And then it comes down to like, HP and if somebody was a little bit ahead in the Basti mirror, but at least that's like a path where there's play. But I think a couple times there you threw Ice Punches where we just need to go for Psychics. Like, I think that's one of the biggest things I try to like really push for people is like, if you have a move that's lethal, just go for it. Like, getting the shield is an advantage or killing the thing is an advantage. Whereas if you bait, they can no shield and you lose a lot. So I would just encourage you in that those matchups, just go for the lethal move. Like, we don't want to give our opponent a chance to outplay us.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If we bait, we're giving them a chance to outplay us. We'd rather have it be under our control. Like, we're going to throw the big move, we get something from them.
Right, we get a shield or it takes them out type of thing.
Yep, that's where we want to be. We can get into fancier, more nuanced stuff further down, but we want to like nail down the if we can kill it first, and then we can move on to, maybe this is a good opportunity to bait sort of things. But that's
right.
Once we've got the basics. All right, I'm ready for the next one if you are. We still got time
Absolutely.
for probably 3 or 4 more games.
Sounds good.
All right, let's do it. This is a pretty neutral matchup. They don't want to play it, so they swap out. We go to Basti. This is definitely a matchup where Basti owns the matchup and G-Fisk struggles. G-Fisk can't kill with 1 Rock Slide, dies to 2 Weather Balls. The opponent's a little bit energy ahead and always will win CMP. But Basti here can literally just tap this thing down. They have to throw 4 Weather Balls to kill you, and they just never get to that much energy. So one of the benefits of running Basti in the line over one of the other anti-flyers. 2, 3, 4. Actually, I would much rather that SlightofHam just went for a tap down here. I don't think the opponent has any incentive to shield this. And now we don't have a move to throw at their Mon. Although it's going to take them 2 moves to kill us. So we'll probably get to a Stone Edge here anyways. But, this is talk about slow matchups. Umbreon versus Basti is just a slugfest. SlightofHam doing pretty well with the denies. Impressed with his mechanics on that for someone that only recently started trying it. Opponent's goal here, I think, is to go to 2 and then throw. They're not going to be able to farm us down. So they were like, maybe I can farm down, went to as much as they could before the Basti gets to another move. Good counting by our opponent, and they throw to KO. We come back in with Medi because like the Sableye doesn't want any part of this. I would no shield this. I like that read. Nothing it throws here does even half of our health. We can even tank 1 more of those. Throw the Psychic. There we go. I would no shield this, but either way works, I think. And then after we throw this, we want to swap out. I don't think there's any way the Nidoqueen can kill the Sableye before it gets to 2 foul plays. 4, 5. An Earth Power might be dangerous, so it might be worth it to shield once if they throw the Earth Power over farm, so we can potentially get to a last resort against the Umbreon. Or if they throw Poison Fang, just throw to kill it. They're going to throw right here. Yeah, I think shielding this is the play. If they Earth Powered us here, the Medi's going to really struggle in that matchup. They Poison Fang, so we just want to kill it as soon as we can. Kill it. There we go. I like that read. Have lethal, throw lethal. The Umbreon's not really going to be able to farm us down from here. And opponent does not want to play it out from there. All right. Take that one. All right, what do you think about that one?
I pretty much had him hard countered.
Yes. You
I called the bait and I was wrong on the Sableye, but I felt like it was worth not getting caught with my pants down.
Yes, I agree. Like they did not have a way to win that game if you shielded that move. Whereas if you no shield that and it is the earth power, that gives them a chance to win. So I like that read. And I like that as soon as you're like, oh, they threw a Poison Fang, they've got energy still, so you threw right away to kill it. Beautiful. I was just saying to the chat, and you'll hear it back, but like if they go for an earth power there, you could farm up a little extra before killing it, so you get closer to getting to a last resort, a return for the Umbreon. But they threw the Poison Fang, so you just made sure you killed it. That was good. I was curious why you threw a move at the Pelipper.
Yeah, I probably could have farmed it all the way down.
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna pull up the sim over here so we can just look at it real quick, and it's in the VOD. But Pelipper versus Basti, even if we'll give them 2 wing attack lead on our Basti. In these, we're not gonna throw a move, none, and we're not gonna shield. I don't say they can't shield it anyways because we're not throwing a move. So even with a 2 wing attack lead, they should only get to 3 weather balls, and that won't be enough to kill you, and you'll come out with 96 energy and about 10 HP.
Nice. Yeah, so I could potentially get the 2 moves against whatever comes back in.
Yeah, if an Umbreon came back in there, you definitely get the 2 moves, because you get to throw a move, throw 2 smackdowns, and throw another move. If they brought in something else, maybe you don't. But even in that case, you still get to throw 1 move, and they get very little farm. So I would encourage you, next time somebody safe swaps a Pelipper on you, just go to that Basti and just farm it all the way down. That was the one thing there. I like that you threw the Psychic at the Nidoqueen. That was a good implementation of what we were just talking about, the have lethal, throw lethal. Instead of baiting
right, it was Shadow, so if he didn't shield that, it was going to take him out.
Exactly. And I think if we pull Medi into Nido Shadow, Nido Queen Shadow.
Or at least close.
Yeah, Ice Punch there only does 45%, and Psychic does 88%. So I'm pretty sure that would have been lethal with the counters that you landed on him first.
Yeah.
So I really like that call there to go for the Psychic. And then the swapping right after the Psychic into the Sableye. You played that matchup really clean.
Sounds good.
Let's jump to the next one.
More like those, please.
Yeah.
All right.
Sometimes, chat, it is a little easier to navigate and play well in matchups where like you have a clear plan, right? Our opponent swaps something, like we have a good lead, our opponent swaps something that we have a good answer to. It can be easy to navigate those, and it's that is important, and it is good to be able to play well in our positive matchups to not give those away. But it can be disheartening then when you don't feel like you're playing to that level in your bad or middle matchups. But don't give yourself a hard time. It just takes a little longer to learn those and find a path through them that works. So we got another good lead here. Homeslice Henry, you can ask in the chat or the Discord, but I believe we've had quite a bit of success with people that have come in here for even just one coaching session. We generally don't always see much ELO gains that day because our coaching session is not about winning games today. It's about learning how to be a better battler and how to analyze your own games so that you can win more games in the future. You know, I'd rather they lose 10 games today if they win 1 extra game every week for the rest of their GBL career. Because that's just way more valuable in the long run. They hard swap into a Sableye. We can't bring our own Sableye into it down a shield. We can't stay in with our Medi, so we go to the Basti. That's a good call. Basti pretty decent in this matchup. You can see the foul play is not doing a lot. Don't really like that we're down a shield, but still in an okay spot. Probably want to throw Stone Edge as soon as we get there. One. You could go for 1 there. It gives them 1 free turn, or try to sync up after 2. Either way, minimal impact. Opponent shields it. They want to win switch. 2, 3, 4. Are they at double? I would still no shield this. Okay, we shield it. It's a little high risk. If they're at double here and they can throw again and KO us, that's pretty bad. Okay, they're not, so we get to throw another move. Now they have to use their last shield or give up switch. The reason I say that I would rather no shield there, I think that we survive that one and get to this move anyways. Stun Fist comes in. 2, 3, 4. Throw an Ice Punch. We don't want to tank. The Sableye swapped out with energy, and EQ plus foul play will kill us from here. So I would like to have seen us Ice Punch there. So I don't think that we necessarily get to use any of this energy now that we have. Oh, they either were one short or they weren't mashing it, so we get the Ice Punch off. That feels really good. That kind of salvages what happened there. That the Sableye doesn't KO us. Oh, and we get to go to a Psychic on the Venusaur. That feels nice, chat. Is our switch timer up? If our switch timer's up, we should immediately go Sableye here. Switch timer's not up, so they're gonna get to farm us down. I would come in Basti here and not show them the third Mon, because that's how I like playing. And SlightofHam also agrees that when we don't have to show them the back Mon, we don't show them the back Mon. What'd you think about that one, SlightofHam?
I think it went pretty well. I was debating on calling the bait on the first earthquake, and I'm glad I shielded it at the last second. I was like, you know what? Here we go.
Yeah. So the things I think maybe we could have done a little better that time. I think in the Basti Sableye matchup, you used a shield on a foul play that I'm like really sure it wasn't lethal when you were one smackdown short of the second Stone Edge.
Yeah, I remember that, and I'm not 100% sure why I ended up going in that direction, but
so I'm fairly certain from where you were there. We knew their G-Fisk was somewhat low. I think that if you no shield there and throw that Stone Edge, that either puts you up shields because that would have been them using their last shield. You still have a shield, which would be really nice. Like Medi up a shield, good. Sableye up a shield, pretty good. Or I thought that perhaps because it seemed like they'd farmed up a little bit there, they might have been close to 2, and like I felt like the worst thing we could do there was shield them, throw a second one and a Shadow Claw, and we die, and then they're still up a shield. So I thought my thinking was in that situation, we no shield the first one. If they want to throw the second one and kill us, that's fine. Then they're energy dry. Or we get to, if they don't throw back to back, we get to throw one Smackdown. We get to throw a Stone Edge. That either gets their last shield or guarantees us switch. And we know they have a G-Fisk and we have a Medi, so winning switch is good for us.
Right.
And even if they shield that, now they're out of shields. They kill our Basti. They still have a move load on their Sableye. Their Sableye was in farm down range for ours. So we could shield the foul play on our Sableye and farm them down, and we'd probably be at or near a move that's lethal for the G-Fisk. So it seemed like there were more good paths out of there if we no shield the Basti.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The other thing was go for it. Yeah. Tell me what you were thinking.
I thought when he came back in with his Sableye that he had a move already.
Yes.
And I thought for sure if that was the case that I would have lost the CMP.
Yes. Yep. I was saying the same thing to chat. That's why I felt like your farm down on the G-Fisk was like too aggressive. I think you could have thrown an Ice Punch that KO'd it before it Earthquaked you. And I would have liked you to do that because then you'd be healthy enough that a foul play wouldn't kill you. And so the Sableye couldn't combo play kill you there.
Makes sense.
So yes, I'm totally with you. You looking back on it, you're seeing it the same way. It would have been better to have more health on the Medi there because it definitely seemed like the Sableye should have been out of move and would win CMP. but he either didn't tap it or was one off, and Ice Punch was lethal, and Psychic did a lot of work.
Oh yeah, it hurt that it hurt that Venusaur pretty bad.
Yep. Let's see, we got time for probably one more.
All right, sounds good.
Let's jump into it. There are, in fact, a couple. If anybody in the chat is interested, there are, I believe, 4 coaching sessions currently available. 2 are owned by Dr. Roast Beef, 2 are owned by Koi Pebble, and they'll be looking to gift those to the community. So there's a matchup. I would rather he go to the Psychic first, because as we talked about earlier, Ice Punch not lethal to the Venusaur, so they don't have to shield this. Opponent still does, so that's pretty good for us. And we go to our Basti here because they swapped out their G-Fisk, right? This matchup not too bad for Basti. I think Shadow Venusaur, it's 2 Frenzies kill, but from regular Venusaur, it's 3. No, well, it's 2 plus the Vine Whips. Definitely not 2 in this matchup. We don't want to shield here. Basti's just going to get farmed down essentially after this. But I would have lethal, throw lethal here, right? We don't want to give them a... Yep, that's why when you have lethal, you throw lethal, chat. Opponent there getting to another Frenzy Plant, forcing a shield out of us now. Now I guess we go for a farm down. But I don't think we can get to the farm down before they get to another one. So we'll reiterate that with SlightofHam after the game. Opponent no shields that. They come in with the G-Fisk. We get to a Flamethrower at least here. But the Medi's not going to like coming into this G-Fisk that is like fully loaded. They're going to be pretty close to 100 energy. Flipping Coop at that range, it doesn't matter. The Flamethrower is slightly more damage. They cost the same energy. We can mention that to SlightofHam, but it's not game changing, provided that it's in range where Stone Edge is lethal. So now we're shielding the EQ. We are out of shields. Opponent swaps to a Pelipper. 4, 5. Stores an Ice Punch and swaps out. They're going to get to a Hurricane here that I think KOs us. If they throw Weather Ball, we have play. Although 2 Weather Balls probably also lethal. Oh, we foul play this. Okay. 2. They're going to get at least 1 more off the Sableye. Probably they're at 2. They're at 3. We can throw 1 counter and then we have to throw. Just go straight Ice Punch. Yeah, it's not going to be enough. 2, 3, 4. Yep, they're going to throw a Weather Ball here that's going to put us in Rock Slide range. We still can't counter down before they get to another Weather Ball, I don't think. 2. Oh, we do? Okay, we have to kill them before they throw 2 Mud Shots. Ice Punch? Yeah, that's too much health. 1 Mud Shot, 2 Mud Shots. All right, SlightofHam. What do you think about that one?
It was winnable, and I'm sure I did something to kind of screw that up with the Bastiodon matchup versus the Venusaur there, because I took it.
Go for it, sorry.
Go ahead.
Started to interrupt you. I'll let you talk first.
I'm thinking perhaps I shouldn't have maybe let it take me down that far, or not let the Stunfisk farm as much as it did.
So I think the biggest thing that I saw in that matchup was we got to Stone Edge, they threw a move at us, and then we did not throw our Stone Edge, we threw another Smackdown, and then they threw another move at us. I think you are in a very good spot in that game if you throw that Stone Edge before they get to the third Frenzy. Yeah, because then they have to shield to throw that Frenzy, so we're potentially up a shield there, or they just let it go and then you win switch, and you don't have to give up that shield to do it. And then the Medi can do a lot more work in those matchups. And even if they shield there and then they throw at you, you could just let it go down. Like, and I think you're in a better spot there than feeling like you need to shield the guarantee switch.
Right.
But yeah,
right. It hurt taking that hurricane on Sable.
Yes. Yeah, it would have been nice to still have a shield at that point in the game. But yeah, that's the have lethal, throw lethal, right?
Yeah.
Opponents, good opponents, will do things like that to mess with you. They'll throw the first frenzy after 8, and then they'll go like 9 more before they throw the second frenzy, and then they're 1 away from the third one. So you just gotta be looking out for that. Like, if we're not going to count, which I understand, like that's a lot of vine whips. If we don't want to be very judicious with our counting, we definitely want to be like, as soon as we have lethal, we throw it.
Yeah, makes sense.
It'll help us, because that was definitely a game where we had advantage. We won lead. We had a good counter swap, but we let it get away from us a little bit by falling to our opponent's craftiness. And
yeah, I think I probably might have still pulled that off if instead of letting him farm down my Bastiodon, I switched into Sableye, because then he would have come in Pelipper, and Sableye still has a pretty good
yes, that's
matchup versus Pelipper.
That's definitely another option there. If you know that they're going to get a pretty big farm down off one of your Mons, it definitely makes sense for you to swap to your, because that's your safe swap, right? And then it gives them more chances to make a mistake when we make that play. So I agree.
Right.
That would have been, from where we were in that game, that was a better line to the end of the game if we swap to the Sableye there and don't let him farm us down.
Right. Like, and even if he took out my Sableye, I could have farmed down with Bastiodon through a flamethrower versus the G-Fisk, and then still had Medicham alive.
Yep. And they wouldn't have had the energy to throw the EQ at your Medi. So yeah, it would have been a better situation kind of all around there. But yeah, it's good that you're like you identified that. That's good, and gives you a chance to next time play it the way that you want it. You wish you could have played it this time, and there'll be more wins in the future. Thank you, SlightofHam, for coming in today and sharing your battles and essentially sharing your coaching session with the community. I'll save the VOD and send you a link to it so it is there as long as you need it, and you can go back and look at it. And eventually all these coaching VODs also get edited by Dr. Roast Beef and make it to the YouTube. We do have a YouTube right now. It's just kind of what do we call that? An archive for the coaching VODs. So you can go back and look at those. But they're fancier there than they are on Twitch, because Dr. Roast Beef does an awesome job editing those. And we're going to use some of those tools at some point in the future to make other fancy content, hopefully. That's more dependent on me making time than anything else. I'd like to thank you for joining us today in the dojo. If you value these coaching VODs, you can give this video a like, you can subscribe to my channel, or you can leave some feedback below in the comments. Also, in the description are links to my Twitter and Twitch. You can follow me there for additional content. I live stream on Twitch Monday through Friday starting at noon Pacific. I would love to have you join us there so we can learn and grow together.